Hi, hope you're doing well today. We'll just have a nice smooth flow for loosening up the hips, decreasing any tightness, and increasing a little bit of flexibility or mobility for those tight areas in your hip region. So let's begin in a tabletop position. And we'll begin with just some real slow movement so you can start to allow the breath to become nice and even. Taking really full inhales and full exhales. Be sure the knees are planted under the hips and the wrists are right under the shoulders. Notice here a tendency to kind of dip the belly down. Really pull the shoulders up and back so the shoulder blades come into the spine and the belly's nice and lifted so it's parallel to the ground. Here you're extending the head away from the tailbone and pressing into all 10 fingertips, spreading the fingertips out nice and wide. Starting to notice the connection between the hands and the knees, tops of feet to the ground. And start to take a few nice long breaths, breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, just keeping the gaze at your mat so the back of neck stays nice and long. With each inhale, your belly should rise or come towards the ground. And with each exhale, the belly comes back into the spine. You'll want to keep the inhales equal to the length of the exhales. And on your next inhale, you'll lengthen again, head to tailbone. Exhale, C-curve or twist, turn to the right, looking at the right foot. Inhale back to the center, and exhale, C-curve to the left. Inhale back to the center, and exhale round the back, spanning the space between shoulder blades. Inhale as you come to your cow tilt, head and hips rise, chest opens, and exhale back, rounding the back. Inhale, back to the flat tabletop position, and exhale, C-curve to the right. Inhale back to the center, and exhale, C-curve to the left. Inhale back to the center, and exhale round the back, cat pose. Inhale as you open to a cow tilt, and exhale again into cat. Once more, inhale to a flat tabletop, exhale to the right, inhale back center, and exhale to the left. Inhale back to the center, exhale round the back, inhale expand the chest, cow tilt, exhale round the back. From here you're just going to bring the feet together, widen the knees, and come into a child's pose. You can relax the elbows to the ground if that works for you or reaches. You can relax the head as well if you like. Fill 2 deep breaths. And then to further warm up the hips, you'll press into the hands, lift back up towards your tabletop position, and just bring the knees closer together again, back to that tabletop. From here, you're going to make sure that your hands stay nice and connected to the ground or mat, and we'll make some circles with the body. So even if it feels silly, go ahead and lean your bottom back towards the end of the mat. Make a circle with your bottom towards the right side, keeping the knees connected. And then exhale back towards child's pose. I'll circle from the bottom up to the left again, that opposite C-curve. And then exhale back to child's pose. So do that a few times, rounding from the right side up. And exhaling back. Rounding from the left side up to tabletop. And exhaling back to child's pose. So once more, inhale to the right. And exhale. And inhale to the left. And exhale. It's time to make a full and complete circle, just a few times in both directions. So maybe once to the right, once to the left. Your hands and knees are just staying in the tabletop position, and you're allowing those hips to find a full range of motion. So 1 or 2 more circles. Alright, so as you come back to the tabletop position, this time curl the toes under and press up slowly to a downward facing dog. So in your down dog, as the legs aren't quite warm yet, you'll want to keep a bend to the knees here. You're making sure to press the hips away from the hands. That bend in the knees will protect the tightness in hamstrings as they're not warm yet. Fingertips stay spread nice and wide. Head can relax between the arms. And then just make a few bends with the knees here so that you can warm up the legs. So on the exhale, bend the knees, look towards top of mat. And then inhale, straighten the legs. On the exhale, bend the knees, look ahead. And inhale, straighten the legs. Again, just bending on exhale. Inhale, straighten. And then exhale to bend the knees. Take some steps towards the top of your mat-ish space. Bring the hands to the shins. Inhale, halfway lift, look ahead. Exhale, release head to the shins. Tiny bend to the knees as you inhale, slowly coming up to standing. And as you exhale, palms will come to the center of the mat. So we're just going to do 3 salutations just to warm the body a little bit further. So rooting through the heels, you'll lift both arms and gaze on inhale. Exhale, bring the hands down to the ground as you fold forward, or hands to the shins. You'll inhale, pressing up halfway, flattening the back. Exhale, plant the palms, step back to a plank position, press the heels away from the head. Exhale, keep elbows close as you come high to low. You can come into any modified salutation that works. Inhale, expanding the chest, and exhale back towards downward dog. Taking a few breaths here. Again, knees can stay nice and bent. You're just looking for a nice long back, long arms. The next time you exhale, allow the knees to bend again. Look ahead, step or walk to the top of mat. Halfway lift on the inhale, flat back. Exhale as you fold. Inhale, make your way to standing slowly. And exhale, send palms back down to heart. Root through all surfaces of the feet. Inhale, lift the arms and gaze. Exhale, bend as you fold forward. Inhale, halfway, pull the belly in and up. Exhale, plant the palms. Again, you'll step back to a plank. Feel free to drop down to the knees or lower all the way down to the belly. Either way, you'll inhale to upward dog, expand your chest, and exhale, downward dog. A few even breaths here. On the exhale once more, bend the knees, look ahead, step, hop, or walk to the top. Come up halfway as you inhale. Exhale, fold, soften. Inhale, find your rise to standing, never rush. And exhale, bring palms to heart. Last time. Inhale, lift, lengthen. Exhale as you fold forward. Inhale, pick a focal point, gaze ahead. Exhale, hands to the ground. Find your way back to plank. Exhale, travel high to low, or chaturanga. Inhale to upward dog, and exhale, downward dog. Take one more full breath here, filling the belly on inhale. And then further warming up the hips. Lift the right leg towards the ceiling or sky. Give the right knee a bend, and you can open up the right hip towards the ceiling here. So you'll notice as you do open that right hip, stacking it over the left, that your body dips down on the left side. So you're going to try to keep both of your shoulders level or parallel to the ground as you do open that hip. Then make a few circles if you like, forwards or backwards. And then you'll bring that hip to square back to the ground as you release the foot and send the left leg up. Again, as you bend that left knee and open the hip, make sure that right shoulder doesn't dip down. Try to keep them nice and level. Then a few circles. And release both feet back to downward dog. On your exhale, soften back down to the knees. And just take 2 or 3 cat-cows, Inhaling as the belly dips down. Exhale as you round the back. 2 more. So from here, you'll curl the toes under, press back up to downward facing dog. Lift that right leg skyward on your inhale. Swing the right foot through, place it between both hands at the top of your mat. If this high lunge is uncomfortable for any part of your body, you can lower that left knee down to the ground and untuck the left toes. If you are able to stay in that lunge position, keep the left knee lifted, left wrist under left shoulder, and inhale, open the right arm skyward. Make sure to hug the right inner thigh into your chest here as you press through the back left foot. Taking a nice full breath as the chest and torso are open. On your exhale, release the right hand back to the ground, and then do soften down to that left knee if you're not there. And make sure the right knee stays over the right ankle, keeping the hands rooted to the ground. And then we're going to straighten that front right leg, walking your hands back, flexing the right foot, pulling the toes towards you. You're going to walk the hands back towards that lunge position, and this time bend the left knee so the left toes come skyward here. If it's comfortable or an option for you, you can reach that right hand around to grab the left toes, but you don't have to. If you do reach around to grab your foot, notice that your right knee starts to pop out. You want to keep it right over the ankle and hugged into the chest. So then you'll release your hands back to the ground, feet back to the ground, curl your left toes under, and come back up to that lunge. So either left knee to the ground or left leg lifts. Right arm is skyward. And then release right hand to the ground, left knee if it's not. Back toes come back down. Right foot straightens, right leg straightens rather, right foot flexes towards you. Kind of folding over that front leg as much or little as is comfortable. And then walk it back up to the top and find a bend to that left knee. You can stay here or find a wrap or bind, again keeping the right knee over ankle and hugged into chest. As you exhale, curl the back toes under and push the body back to downward facing dog. Find that nice length in the arms and back, space in chest. As you exhale, shift the weight forward to a plank position, keeping shoulders over the wrists. And just soften down to both knees, untuck the toes, and lower slowly all the way down to the belly. With the shoulders up and back, hug the elbows in as you come up to a low cobra. And exhale, make your way back to downward facing dog. Swing the left leg up on inhale to the sky or ceiling. Bring it through to the top of your mat. Again, right leg stays lifted or right knee comes down. Right wrist under shoulder. Inhale that left arm open. Again, you're hugging the left inner thigh into chest. Left knee is over the ankle. Press through the back right heel, back foot. Make sure you're using the pressure into the fingertips, spreading them wide in addition to the palm. On your exhale, that left hand comes back down, right knee comes to the ground, untuck the toes, and walk the hands back as you straighten the left leg, flexing the left foot. Inhale, walk the hands back towards the top, then that right leg, bringing the foot to the ceiling, again staying here or finding that connection, keeping the left knee hugging into chest. Making sure the glutes aren't super, super tight here. Trying to kind of relax the hips so they can travel down and forwards a little bit. And then bring that left hand back down, curl the left toes under. Come back up to that lunge. Knee can stay down if you need. As the left hand comes back down, bring that right knee down, walk it back out so that left leg can straighten, flex the foot, folding over left leg. And then walk the hands back up, bend that right foot up to the ceiling or sky, a bind or no bind, 2, 3 breaths. As you exhale, release the right toes to curl under and press back to downward facing dog. Just go ahead and walk it out a little bit, walking the dog, so just bending one knee at a time, straightening the opposite leg. And then we'll release back to a tabletop position, dropping the knees back down, the wrists under the shoulders. And then we'll continue with a few circles from here. So just lift that right leg up to the ceiling, bending the right knee, and making some circles forward and backward, or side to side. So you can stay here in tabletop position, making those circles, or you can curl the left toes under and continue making those circles in a downward dog position. From either place, you're going to eventually, when that right leg is nice and warm, bring that right leg to the top of the mat towards the pigeon or half pigeon pose. From that pigeon pose, you're going to allow the left knee to come down and the left toes to relax and the hips to stay nice and level here. You don't want to have your body rocking too much to one side or the other or resting on the right bottom. It might be comfortable for you to stay here, stay lifted a bit further, or if it's accessible, you can always bring the elbows down towards the ground, keeping them under the shoulders, relaxing the head. Whichever place you choose, just try to hold in one place, that's best. Releasing the glutes. So if you're down on your forearms, you'll come back up towards the beginning position, releasing hands back up to the top. And go ahead and bring the palms to the ground, curl the back left toe under, and come back either to that tabletop position or to that down dog position, again making some circles with the right leg. Once you feel complete with those circles, just switch sides, lowering back down to the tabletop position, or up to downward facing dog, making circles with the left leg. Once you have a few circles there, go ahead and send the left leg towards the top of the mat, towards your pigeon pose. So the leg's going to come across your body, left foot behind right wrist, as much as is comfortable for you. Please don't strain and try and bring that foot all the way up to the wrist if it does not come comfortably. For most of you, it probably doesn't. For me, it certainly doesn't. Allow that right leg to relax, the glutes to relax, the body's nice and level, hips aren't rocking too much to the left side. And you'll notice here that each side is a little bit different, so just try to honor that. Don't try to match where you were on the other side. Just allow your body to figure out where it should remain for a few breaths in stillness. If it's hard for you sometimes to just sit in the quiet, you can always try to breathe in a nice thought or feeling. And from wherever you are, slowly find your way back up towards the top, bringing the hands back to the ground, curling the back toes under. And again, returning to tabletop or down dog as you find those circles with the left leg. Once you're complete, you'll bring the left foot back to the ground. Again, you walk out the dog, so just coming up to down dog if you're at tabletop, make a few bends to that knee and straighten the opposite leg. And then one more time, we'll release back down to tabletop position. This time, try to make sure that you can come on your mat sideways so that you're able to walk your knees out side to side here. So you'll come on your mat sideways in cat-cow position. I'll just show you from this angle instead, but make sure you're facing the opposite direction so that your knees have some cushion underneath whatever surface you're on. So from tabletop position, begin to slowly walk the knees out to the sides. So you'll all have varying degrees, of course, of how far that you walk them out. You're just taking the time to slowly move the knees out. So you're feeling a really nice inner thigh stretch. Stretch in the hips and groin. The hands are going to stay right where they were underneath the shoulders. So whether or not you came out just a little or a lot, notice if the bottom is kind of down towards the feet or heels, you'll want to shift it so that the hips are kind of over the knees or in alignment with the knees. And again, hands can stay under the shoulders, or if it's comfortable and accessible, you can release the elbows to the ground underneath the shoulders. So you're going to stay in this position for about a minute at least, maybe more. And try as best you can not to pay attention to the pressure that you feel underneath your knee. So likely, unless you have a super comfortable mat, you're feeling some pressure wherever you are. And just know that the pressure you feel is just some discomfort and that it's just temporary. Focusing rather, if you can, on filling with air as best as possible, maybe counting 5 counts in and then 5 counts out. And doing that for 5 or 6 breaths maybe. You can even pay attention as you breathe in to how the breath fills, filling from the belly or the bottoms of lungs all the way to the upper chest. And very slowly, you're going to prepare to come back up towards the tabletop position. And as you come up to a tabletop position, you'll just sit back into child's pose, allowing the body to relax here. You can keep the arms out in front of you or release the arms down towards your feet. And the head and neck in child's pose will always stay nice and relaxed, keeping calm. So as you rise back up, you'll come back up towards the tabletop position. Bring the knees back towards the end of the mat, and then we'll make a few more of those circles just like you did in the beginning, relaxing tops of feet to the ground and making a full circle here with the hips and changing directions each time. So you'll exhale as you swoop back and around, and inhale as you come up, and exhale as you come back and around. Just 1 or 2 more times each direction. And then as you come back to your tabletop position, we're just going to find your way down to your back. So as you come onto the back, if you do have a little bit decreased flexibility or not as great flexibility, make sure you have a scarf, towel, belt, strap, anything of the sort If you don't, it's no problem, but if you do, you'll grab it and keep it handy next to you. So as you lay down on the ground, just allow the back to be completely relaxed on the ground, legs relaxed as well. Just give your legs a little wiggle. And then here you're going to bring the right knee into the chest and just wrap the hands around the shins and pull the knee towards the chest, keeping your gaze to the ceiling. And then we'll extend that right leg up towards the ceiling. So if you have a strap, this would be the time, or whatever you're going to use, to wrap it around the foot, kind of ball the foot here, and then hold both ends of the strap. Or you don't have one, you can just hold with your body. If you do have the flexibility, you can use your 2-piece fingers to wrap around the big toe and use your arm as a strap as well. So whatever means you have, you're keeping that right leg up to the ceiling, keeping it nice and flexed, pulling the foot towards you or towards your head, and then either extending the leg out straight or keeping the right knee bent just because of my lack of space. You're going to slowly keeping the strap straight or bent if you choose, opening that right leg towards the ground, and at the same time using your left hand to press kind of on the left hip here. So as you start to lower that right leg to the side or to the ground, the left hip is going to pop up off the mat. If you let it pop up super high, you're kind of losing the stretch here. So you really want to put some pressure down on that left leg, or just kind of bring the right leg back up until you do feel a nice stretch. You want to feel maybe like 85% of your capacity or so, or of your ability to find the deepest stretch that you can. Still continuing to fill with air, focus on the breath moving. And then just slowly straight leg or bent knee, bring that leg back up, and then cross it over the body, over the left side. The leg can be straight or the knee can be bent, and you'll switch hands. So this time the left hand's gonna keep track of the right leg, and the right arm will just come out to the side, laying on the ground beside you. Don't worry if your right shoulder's not touching the ground. You just want to allow the body to kind of twist naturally. That left hand can bring a bit of pressure onto the right leg or knee, or you can just relax completely. So as you come back up, you'll bring that right knee back up into the chest. Just give it a little tug and release that right foot to the ground. Another wiggle for the legs. And then switch sides, pulling the left knee or shin into the chest. And then taking a hold of strap or using your hand to bring that left leg skyward. Really keeping a nice sort of pressure between the hand or strap or whatever is connected to the leg, and pulling the foot towards your head. Again, keeping the leg straight or the knee bent. You'll allow that left leg to start to come out to the side. Notice as you lower, just as in before, how much or when the right hip starts to pop off too much. If you're all the way popped off, then you need to raise the leg up a little bit. Again, you'll notice that both sides are different. Another thing that you'll notice is that as the leg or knee is extended, it tends to kind of fall towards the feet. You want to pull it back up towards the head. As you slowly bring that leg back up, you'll bring it back into the center, and then cross it over the opposite side, straight leg or bending the knee. And relaxing the arms to the side, or using your right hand to bring some pressure over that left thigh or knee. Your gaze is always in your twist the opposite direction that your leg is facing. So if your leg's to the left, is to the right. This time your gaze is to the left as your legs to the right. Back up on inhale, bring the leg back to the center, pulling the knee into the chest, and then releasing the legs to the ground. This time before we complete, we're just going to roll back over onto the belly. So as you make your way to the belly, you'll keep the whole body relaxed to the ground. And then we want to bring a nice stretch to the front of the hips and hip flexors here. So you can keep the body relaxed. And depending on your degree of comfort, you can come into a sort of frog pose or all the way up to a bow pose. So you just bend the knees, and you're going to bring the hands wrapping from the outsides around both feet, the tops of your feet, and you're going to pull those feet towards you, bringing a nice stretch into your quads. If this is enough of a stretch, bringing your heels towards your buttocks or bottom, then you're just going to hold here. If you're able to bring a greater stretch, then you can very slowly, keeping the feet wrapped around from the outside, press your pelvic bone into the ground as you kick those feet back up and away into the hands. If you are coming up to the bow pose, you're just keeping gaze at the top of your mat. And notice if the knees start to splay out. You really want to bring them back in towards each other, keeping the knees in line with the hip. So either place, allowing the front of the body a nice deep stretch. As you do come down, I'll just release those feet back to the ground, maybe turn the head to the side. Take a deep breath in and exhale throughout the mouth. One more breath in. Exhale, release your energy. Inhale, take a deep breath. Bring the feet back to either the buttocks or up to the bow. And take a few more breaths here. Again, if you're up to that full bow pose, make sure the knees aren't splaying out to the sides. And as you exhale, you release back down to the ground. Again, you can take a deep breath in. Exhale, release the energy or air out the mouth. And inhale again, deep breath. And exhale, release it. So we're just going to continue lying on the front of the body, on the belly. So you can either relax your head on the mat or bring your hands and make a pillow with your hands on top of each other and rest your head on the hands. The reason why we'll end on the belly and not on the back is that in Shavasana, or in your relaxation pose, which is normally on the back, it tends to allow the body to feel more open or vulnerable. And if you haven't heard before in a yoga class, when you work on the hips is a place where you tend to store a lot of emotion. So having maybe release some of that emotion, if you will, instead of lying in a vulnerable position, we'll just lie to face the ground to feel really centered and grounded and safe. So as you find that place to relax, make sure the whole body's relaxed. Maybe wiggle the legs again, or toes, or arms if they're not under your head. And maybe allow the eyes to close if that feels nice. Even in this position, allowing the eyelids to feel heavy. Allowing the muscles in the face to relax. And finding just a bit of peace, or as much peace as you can in just a few moments of quiet. Just Just allowing the air to enter and exit on its own natural pace. So from your position of lying down on the belly, from wherever you are, just bring the hands nice and slow underneath the shoulders. And keep the eyes closed if you like. And once more, you're just going to bring the body up nice and slow to a tabletop position. And then you're just going to bring yourself into a seated position. You can sit the bottom right down onto the heels from the tabletop. If that's uncomfortable for the knees, bring yourself to a cross-legged position. Just relaxing with a nice tall spine, however you choose to sit. Allowing the eyes to close, the face to just relax. And then releasing your hands to the sides of your body. Send both arms up to the ceiling on inhale, gazing up. Bring the palms together. And as you exhale, lower the thumbs to your forehead. Acknowledging your truth. Bringing the thumbs to the mouth. Watching your words. And the thumbs to the heart for love. Bowing the head to the hands, namaste. We say in honor and respect of your own practice. And for my honor and respect of your practice. Thank you for joining me. Hope you have a really nice rest of your day or night. Take care.